Today it's Sunday. We're going to concentrate on getting the battery mounted and the fuel cap, stuff like that. So we're going to use this piece of aluminum to make a battery hold down. I'll take some measurements and get to work on it. Alright, let's see what we can do. I'll go this side this way. Alright, so we did one side. We used a bead roller, put a little step in it. Now we're going to step here to get the step this side, and hopefully this will go across the battery if we measured correctly. Let's see what we can do. I try to keep that line lined up with the roller. It's not science, but it's not perfect. There we go. Now we have two steps, and hopefully that'll fit between our battery. Then we can see where we're going to trim this. Probably put a couple dimple dies in it. But for me, it's easier to work with a bigger piece and get it made. And then we'll trim it down where we want it and how we want it. Alright, I'm going to go mark some holes and figure out where I want those dimple dies. Alrighty, we got our 3 holes in our battery hold down. Here's our little die. We're going to go punch 3 holes in this thing real quick and see what we can come up with. There we go. Now we got some dimple dies. They'll keep it stiff. Probably gonna put a small one out here to hold it down somewhere. We're gonna check on that right now and see what we want to do. Well, here's our battery hold down. It's not perfect by no means. It's pretty stiff though. It ain't gonna bend. It'll hold the battery in. It'll be just fine. So now I'm going to mount this battery, even though it's not the battery I'm using, and see how it goes. Alright, we got our battery hold down in. It's all bolted and ain't going nowhere. We got our positive cable soldered on. We have to get a correct battery, but we're going to start running our cables. Tomorrow we're going to start back on the interior, I think. I'm going to do some cleaning up and get to work on the interior tomorrow. Get all that cleaned out so we can get it done this week. Saturday it goes in for carpet. Alright, so we're back in the garage. It is Tuesday. We have these pieces at home. These go on the quarter window lower inside panel. They are stapled on. We bought these fuzzies from Facebook Marketplace, eBay, somewhere. I don't know. Somebody had them. It wasn't from a factory. It's supposed to have those little staples holding it in. Very tiny little staples. I don't have no little staples. So we went to the hardware store today and we bought these little guys. And with those little guys, we are making these. We need 8 of them, so we'll probably make 10 or 12. They start out like that. So with vice grips, a hammer, and this piece of key stock, we turn them into that. So I'm going to make those real quick. It's pretty simple. I'll set up this camera and show you how. There we go. So to make my little staples, take said staple holder, key weight, take my key stock, Put my staple in there. Push it down. Good old needle nose vice grips. Clamp it on. A few blow taps. Presto, staple for panel. So there's 4. We got to do a few more. And there they go all over the floor. Perfect. Well, I'm going to do these and pick up my mess. Alright, it's Wednesday after work, waiting for the wife to come home. We normally have a date night on Wednesdays, but this Wednesday we're not, because we're doing some stuff on Saturday. But I did bring home some dinner. So while we wait for her, this is the back side where the quarter window is. We got to replace these fuzzies. They're all dried up to shit. They take a little staple. This is the staple I made. These are the staples that you get with it. And they are considerably smaller. And I prefer the ones I made. They're longer. They're black. They don't stick out as bad in the fuzzy stuff. Plus, the black painted staplies that I use don't rust. These look like stainless, but they're not. They rust. They might be galvanized or something, but they're nothing special. But they're a lot shorter. And they're a lot harder to get through the hole because they're blunt. And these are cut, I guess you would say. A little bit pointy. These have a little bit of a point on them. So they fit right in. And they're a lot longer, easier for me to bend. So that's what we're working with. To remove this, I use screwdrivers and pliers. There's metal staples in here. You gotta pry them out, bend them, straighten them, and pull them off. Take this piece off, then you put the new piece on. So I'm gonna get started on taking this off, and then we'll start putting on the new one and see how it goes. Alright, so we got that off. Now we gotta straighten this bad boy up a little. I'm not very good at ripping out those staples, and it gets a little bent up, as you can see. So next, we're going to take a piece of D-shaft from the steering column and straighten this up. My fancy D-shaft right there. So there's my snazzy D shaft. Vice grip in there. Then I'll just take some hammers and pliers and work this little area to where it's smooth all the way across. And then I'll bring it down and do this end. Alright. So I take a piece of tape and I mark. This new piece of fuzzy only has 4 staples in it. So I line it up end to end, take a marker, mark it, then I take a piece of fine line tape and go across the top of the old holes, mark where the new holes are, punch them. Now I'm going to drill up all the new holes to assemble the new felt on the panel. So now we got to bend the staple over. So I took my D shaft again and stuck it in there and clamped it all. And right down there is the staple between the two vice grips. So now I'm going to bend it over and that staple will be in. And I'll work my way down. And then that piece should be on. And I just bend it over with some welding pliers to get it started. And once I get it out, I squeeze it with the vice grips to make sure it's good and tight. I don't know if I can hold this camera and do one or not. So we'll get this in there. I know the light's not the best, but what I would do, well, that's a little tight there. Let's try a screwdriver. Yeah, there we go. Use the vice grips to my advantage. Pry it down. And then just close it off. Pry this side down some. And I'm sure there's a much easier way to do this. I'm not a professional, so I have no idea if there is. And I take my pliers off. Stick it right there on the actual side of the staple. Give it a squeeze. Then I do the other side. Give it a squeeze. And then we're ready to move down to the next staple. Put these vice grips on. Take the clamp off, move it to that one. Put those other vice grips on. Repeat till you have all 4 of them done. And I'll show you the process after that. Alright, it's Thursday evening. We're working on a Falcon. Did some wiring up under the dash this week. Got a shifter figured out. We did the side paneling for the sides and the back around the window. That'll be in this video, putting the fuzzies together and all that. Then we scuffed them up and did a little spray bomb job to them so they'd look kind of decent. That masking tape is a pain in the ass to get off. Cut the brackets for the seat out. Tonight I think we're going to try the rear package tray, that panel, the side trim. I went to a metal shop here in Lodi called Alloy Fabrications. Bought our 4x8 sheet of aluminum, 1/16 of an inch thick, and then he gave me a piece of 24 thousandths gauge aluminum just to play with and see if I can see if it does any better for the 55. We're going to use this one for the Falcon. We have to make a back package tray, a back divider, and 2 little brackets on each side for the rear panel. Hopefully that's what we're going to do tonight. The Bandit Pro ratchet shifter we got, it was used. This little thing here was like carbon fiber stickered or something. I didn't like it, so I just, when I blacked the other panels, I blackened it out. But we'll put that up here because we're not going to mess with that right now. And we're going to get this piece of aluminum in here, get the heat on, and see what we can come up with for a package tray. Alright, we're mounting the side trim. Mike's inside the car making a panel. There's no holes in this car. Somebody put quarter panels on it, so we have to make some holes. There's only 2 holes, one on each end. So I marked it up, divided it, made a little pattern, and I'm gonna drill some holes. Then we'll come to this side and do the same on this side and drill some holes. That's our pattern for our great divide. Alright, it's Friday. We gotta take this turkey to the upholstery shop. He's doing the carpet. We got the back panel made. It's not perfect by no means, but not bad for the first time. Got the side trim piece on. That was a pain in the butt, but it's on. So I'm gonna get this thing cleaned out and get it loaded up on the trailer so we can get it to the upholstery shop. We used a bead roller. It worked out okay. Well, it's windy out here, that's for sure. We got the little Falcon that could all loaded up, ready to go get some upholstery work done. Get the carpet put in, it'll come back and we can do some more. Put this piece of trim back on. It's finally nice to have things finally going back on the car instead of coming off. All right, let's get this baby to the upholstery guy. Well, it's Saturday. We brought the 55 out. Next week's video, we'll have a walk around of the 55 and what we plan on doing and what we're gonna do. It's Saturday evening. We loaded up the 55. The Falcon's out getting the carpet put in. We're gonna make room and get the 55 next to the truck so we can have it in here and start on it as soon as the Falcon's done. Might finish the truck in between there, I don't know. But next week we'll do a walk around of the 55 and what we plan on doing. Well, I'm gonna get this thing unloaded before it gets dark. Remember, like and subscribe, Side Money Garage. Alright, it's Sunday morning. We're going to wrap up this video this morning, I think, by getting our center console lights wired in. These are the dash lights for this center console. I do believe we're going all LED because we're probably going to have to drive this car in the dark, and I can't see in the dark for crap, so I want them as bright as I can get them. So in our center console we have 4 gauges. All of these gauges are used from other cars I've had over the years. So these lights are all used. Or these light sockets are all used, I guess. Alright. So we know we got 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Four gauge lights total. But let's get rid of some of this crap. Bagels is going to help me a little bit this morning. We're going to get rid of all the unneeded stuff and start soldering our wires together to work in our gauges. There's all that garbage. Alright, I'm going to get this. Me and Miss Bagels are going to get all these ready to solder. Alright, we're going to solder these. We're going to start with the ground. Miss Bagels is trying to help, which hot soldering iron, crazy cat, doesn't work out so well. So I'm going to put all 3 of these together. in sort of a weird twisty effort here. And I know this probably isn't the best way, but this is what works best for me. And I use a Ryobi soldering iron. I love this thing. It works great and does the job. I don't know how Miss Bagels is going to like it. She wants a piece of wire to play with. There you go, Miss Bagels. There you go. There you go. There you go. While our soldering iron heats up, we're going to take our little flux pasty stuff. Miss Bagels. You don't eat this. So we smear a little of this slime on there. Take our hot soldering iron. Well, we're going to clamp this right there. I can't remember if this is a solder I like or don't like, but we're going to find out. That's not for kiddies. Go. I'm hoping the smoke will chase Bagels away. And we're just going to solder these together like so. And we can shut off our soldering iron until we're ready for the next one. There we go, Bagels. That's soldering. That's pretty good. We don't see what we're looking for. I didn't see it in here. Oh, alright. So now, all we got to do is shrink tube our connection, and it's good. I'm going to solder the rest of these together, and we'll see what we can do. Alright, so we got our center console, all the connections we can make on it done. Excuse me. So this little guy here is going to be our Amazon special voltmeter with 2 charging ports for phones, GPS, speaker, whatever we need. So the way this little guy works, I plug it into this RC car battery, which is only 11 volts. It's 11.6 volts. Then it has an on and off if I want to shut it off. But hopefully this little guy will tell me if I'm charging. So that takes care of that. We'll wire it into the factory cigarette lighter and a ground. We're not sure where they're going to end up there. Then we have This one here is our dash lights. Let's see if they work. We might have to shut the light off. I don't know if we'll be able to see if those work or not. Looks like one's not working. There's our ground. We got quite a few of them not working. What's going on here? Now we're going to have to diagnose that and see why they ain't working. Alright. So, let's dive into this here and see what we can find. Is it this? Or is it something else keeping it from working? We tested these guys yesterday and they worked. So now we're a little leery. So now we're back to square one here. We only got one. Okay. So these LEDs well, this one's kind of crappy. Let's see if we can get these cheap things. Out. That one's kind of real cheap. We're going to turn them around and see if that helps them out some. I think I just got them in backwards because they're one-way units. Yep. Okay. That's a pretty easy fix. Boy, they stick in there though. Once they're in there, they're in there. So we should just have to turn them all around. Last one. Oh, that's terrible. All right. So now woo, good guess, first try. So now we can plug these back in, see what we got. There's that. have to back to the AFR gauge. Oh, one of those lights. We're gonna have to put a flat in, huh? To get that one to work. Which we can. It ain't a big deal. Alright. Now let's see what we got. Here's our ground. Here's our positive. There's our lights. They don't seem too bright. So let's hit our light switch. See how they look. Those will work. They don't have to be all 100%, but they'll work. That's low voltage. That's only around 11 volts. So it'll be okay once we clean them up. I think they'll work. Alright, it's Sunday morning. We're going to wrap this up. Where we stand. Falcon's out getting the carpet in it. Sun visors. Got the 55 over to the garage. We'll do a walk around to that maybe today. We got to clean up and get room for that. We got a bunch of tires we got to dismount and mount. But we're going to wrap this video up. The Falcon's coming along. The cheap street Falcon. Closing in this video, this week, what did we do? Well, we signed up the Falcon to try to get it in the Pistons Power Show. It probably won't make it. We'll see what happens. They may want to put it in that a sane asylum thing that the Slick Devils do. I don't know. We do have one car going in there for sure. The wife's Fairlane with the Antique Car Club of America. And also this week we're preparing. We're going to try signing up for our first drag and drive event. We don't know if we'll get in, but we're going to see if we can. The Midwest Drags. That's going to be the first one that we're going to try to sign up for. My wife will probably put some links in the video to it. I don't know. Or more information. I'm not that technical. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. Wish us luck. Hopefully we'll get into a couple of these things. With our little Falcon. Cheap drag and drive. It's not turning out to be so cheap, but relatively speaking of what other people put into their drag and drive cars, it is. It's just a little street car. No power adder, nothing crazy. Thanks for watching, and remember, like and subscribe, Side Money Garage. Hit the notification, the bell, the dinger, whatever it is. Check us out. Leave us some feedback. Thank you.